Rebecca and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make these beautiful butterfly cards. They're really vibrant and fun to make, and anyone who receives them will be lucky to get one. So let's get started. This butterfly card, I've already stamped a rather large butterfly. You can use any butterfly that you wish, or something else if you want. This one, sorry, knocking my camera. This one is 10 centimetres by about 7 centimetres. So if you want to do it the same sort of size as what I'm doing, that's the size mine is. So I've stamped the image just using black ink. It's not an alcohol ink, it's a water-based ink, and I've decided I'm going to do this one in shades of pink. So I'm going to get some finger daubers, and I've got 3 shades here. I'm going to start with the lightest in the middle and work out to the brighter one. So I've got some finger daubers. I'll have one for each colour so I don't mix up my colours. So I'll just take the lids off my inks. These are water-based inks, not the alcohol ones that you can get. Excuse my voice, I've got a bit of a sore throat at the moment, so I apologise for being a bit croaky. Right, so I've got my finger dauber and I'm starting with the lightest shade of pink, and then just lightly going in circular motions on the middle. Obviously do it out of a bright or dark you want your shading to be. This is just how I want it. So I've done that one. So I've got my next one. I've already used this colour, so it's been stamped up already. And just do the next sort of third of the butterfly. This is stamping, cardstock that I've got from Crafter's Companion. It's really good for stamping images. I think it's 220 GSM if I remember right. Right, so I've got that one, and then I'm going to do the last colour on the outside of the wings. It's not too much bright, it's just a shade. Don't worry about going over the edges because we're going to fussy cut this out and put it onto the card. So there we go. If you want it to be darker, just keep adding until you've got it to the shade that you want. But I'm quite happy with that. So I'll pop this to one side and let it dry. Now while that's drying, before we cut it out, we need to prepare our card base. Now this is a pre-scored card. Again, I got this from Crafter's Companion. It's a 17.5 centimetres by 12.5 centimetres. So I'm going to have it open up this way, so that way, not the other way around. And I'm going to put my backing paper on. Got this lovely, so it looks like clouds to me really, it's a nice bluey sort of colour. So what I'm going to do first is double sided as well, so that's handy if you want to use a different side. So when I'm matting and layering my backings for cards, I like to line it up with the edge of the card as to how much of the border I want to be showing on either side. So then I make a pencil mark as to where I want the border to be on that side, and then again do the same. Just get it lined up and then just make a little mark. Oop, I moved it now. There we go. And just make a little pencil line just there. Then I take my guillotine. You can use scissors if you want and just draw lines and you know where to cut it down. So I'll just I'm knocking the camera with my guillotine. I like it to be close in so you can see what I'm doing with the intricate work, but it doesn't give me much space for working in it. So I'll save these bits, can use them for something else. So then I've got my backing, and then got my double-sided tape and my card blank. So you can use wet glue for sticking your backing on, it's up to you. I just prefer double-sided tape just for quickness really, because with the wet glue you've got to wait for it to dry obviously, and sometimes it can bubble up if you don't get it all flattened down all over the card and air pockets fall. So yeah, and see, I just tear it off my reel. I don't cut it with scissors because it doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, then use scissors to cut it. That's totally up to you. So, and we'll take our card base and just line it up with where we wanted it to be. Oops. So yeah, I'm avoiding sticking my head in the camera at the moment because usually I've put sand over it and over it so that I know I've got it level, but that's pretty much right for my eye anyway. So next we've got our matting and layering for what the butterfly goes on to. These are some metal dies that I've got, and I've run it through the Gemini machine, and I've got them in 2 different colours just so they've got a nice contrast to go on the blue. Now again, you can use double-sided tape or wet glue. Because this is going underneath the butterfly, it's not really going to bubble up as much as what the backing paper would, you know, if you put glue all over that. So you're alright using wet glue on this if you wish. Yep, and then put the smaller one on top of the larger one. And then if you think you just need a little bit of glue in other places, just press it round on the outside. Just gives it a good adhesion, and you know it's not going to come away. And any little bits of glue that's left, you know, around the edges, the dry clear anyway because it's PVA. So, and that's that. So I'll put that to the side to dry with the card base, and we've got our butterfly back. Now it's up to you how you cut it out. You can use a craft knife or a Stanley knife or just your scissors like I'm going to use, and just go as close as you can to the edge of the butterfly. I'll fast forward this bit so you're not watching the whole of it. That's our butterfly finished, so we can attach it to the matting and layering that we've just done. But before we do that, I'm going to pop this onto the card, and then we're not having to squish the butterfly yet, so we can press this down really well. Where's my double-sided tape gone? Oh, there it is. Now I'm doing this one because this is a bit textured stock, and I want to make sure that it's well on before I put the butterfly on. You could just use tacky glue or PVA as before, but I just want to make sure that it doesn't move while I'm filming. Take the backing off. Right, so I've got the open flap at bottom, got the crease at the top, and then dry bits of glue and cat fur all over. Right. And again, just eyeball it as to where you want it to go. You could, if you really wanted to, you can measure it so it went perfectly in the middle, but I can't be bothered. So, right, I've got that. See that it's coming up a little bit round this edge, and just a little bit of PVA. It's going to be getting stuck down with flowers and things anyway, but I just want to make sure that it's down properly. Right, so I've got that done, and now we're going on to the butterfly. So I've cut it out, but I want to make its wings curved as though they're flying. So I'm just taking my Crafter's Companion scoring tool that I got with my Ultimate Pro, or with any of the boards that you buy from them. You could use a pen, a pair of scissors, or your fingers really if you want to do this, or just a rounded bottle. I just like to use this when I've got it on my table. Just carry on. Hold the middle, because this is quite thin. You don't want it to tear. So if you squeeze down on that, then it's less likely to rip. If it does rip, then you can still stick it on the card together. It's just, I prefer not to. And then I'm going to stick this in the middle. Now you could either put some foam pads underneath the wings or some silicone glue if you want to keep them raised up. I'm alright with them the way that it is, because I'm going to make an envelope box for this to go in, so it'll not get squished and it'll not be going through the post. If it was going through the post, then I'd definitely put something underneath the wings to keep them in place. So just some glue. Picked up the wrong bottle then. Must fill up my bottle of glue. Right, there we go. Just put it down here. I've cut the antenna off just because they're really difficult to cut out when they're so thin. So you could draw some on if you wish once your butterfly's dried. And then just press that down, and then that's his butterfly attached to his card. Now the next part is adding on all of our flowers and scrolls and leaves that we've got. Now hopefully you've seen my other 3 videos that show you how to create these. If not, I'll link them below or somewhere on the screen. Not sure how it comes up, but I've got 4 scrolls, 4 bunches of leaves and 2 flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a large flower in each corner, and then I'm going to put some scroll. Well, I'll put the scrolls down first and the flower on them, and then I insert the leaves onto them. So I've got 2 types of scrolls. I've got one that's got green in the middle and one that's got pink in the middle. So I'm taking one of each of those, and then I'm just going to just put some PVA down the sides. If your scrolls are a bit too long for what you want, just snip them off before you put them on. So, and then here we go. Oops, bits flying everywhere. Making sure I've got it the right way. So that's that corner done. Now you won't see these because it's going to get covered up by the flower, but I'll do the bottom left hand corner as well. Let me just snip a bit off that one, a bit longer than I want it. And this one, Oh, and I'm going to mend the mistake then. I've put the glue on the wrong side of the scroll. See, that's what I get for rushing. But it don't matter, it'll dry down inside and it will not see it once the glue is dried. It's not the end of the world. There we go. Oop. Now it's sticking to me because I've wiped the glue off. Right, I'm going to go get a wet wipe, clean my fingers because everything's going to be sticking to me, and I'll be back. I'm back, cleaned all my fingers. Handy tip, keep a wet wipe at the side of you whenever you're using PVA and just give your fingers a wipe every few minutes. Just stops your fingers being sticking or your work sticking to you. Right, so once I've got those on, I'm going to stick these here. Now, what do I want? Pink down there? Yeah, I think I'll have green in the top and then pink at the bottom. Right, so because these are more 3D, I want to use a strong tacky glue and just give it a good dollop right underneath. There we go. And then just pop that there, and it'll rest up against the scrolls. If you want to make them even more 3D, if you just push it in your palm and push down, it'll make it more raised if that's what you want to do. And also, if you've got any dry bits of PVA on, you can either peel them off or get like a dry toothbrush and brush it away, and it gets rid of any residue glue that's there. There we go. Yeah, tacky glue away now, don't need that. So now what's left is the leaves, and I'm going to push these in under here. So I just need to put a bit of PVA on them. You could use a tacky glue as well, but because these are quite flat, these will stick quite easily to the card. So I'm going to pop that one under there like that. Just hold it for a few seconds while it sticks. It's good while your flower's not completely dry yet that you can actually lift it up and put your leaves in where you want them to be, and then plus the glue from the flower will hold the leaves down as well. That's one. There we go. And that's all our quilling work stuck on. It will take a few minutes for it to dry, but it will not take too long. Now finally, to finish the card, I've got some lovely scroll peel-offs that I'm just going to put round the outside of the card. I've waited till now to put them on, just simply because then I can put them exactly where I want, and not going to be wasting any of the peel off, putting it where it doesn't need to be. So, oh, you'll stay there, flower. So, you can either use tweezers or your fingers, whichever you prefer. I just like to use my tweezers to pull them off. Just be careful if you've got these ones, because they are rather intricate ones and you don't want to stretch or tear your peel off. Plus with the mean scrolls are a bit forgiving for it. If you do end up pulling too much, you can you've got some leeway as to where you how you can put them back. You're not going to notice too much if it's not a dead straight line, whereas with a curve you've got a bit more room for error that nobody's going to notice. And there we go, right up this one's got twisted. Yes, it has. See, this is a problem. They stick to your fingers and then they go the way you don't want. Ah, there we go. And just snip it off there. I don't want it to go on that border, so these will lift off these because they're not like super sticky. And then just pop, oop, here again, up there, and then you can line it up so it joins, and then snip it off again. And then I'll do the same for this one. Now, if the peel-offs that you've got are not the colour that you want them to be, you just take some alcohol markers, like, what are they called? Well, Crafts Companion do alcohol markers anyway, but I'm trying to think of the ones that are in the regular stationery shops. It'll come to me. Permanent markers. Just can't remember the brand. And there you go. And that's the card finished. And it's a lovely, beautiful card. It does take a little bit of getting all your flowers and things made, but it's well worth the effort. So I'll show you another one that I've made previously in a different colourway. And this is more with a dark pink and a peachy sort of colour for the flowers. And that's it. I just really like how these cards have turned out. And I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you're inspired to make your own butterfly cards. Thanks for watching. Bye!